We have a presentation today. I have a presentation today from the Serrano Briceno family. And closer to the mic. All right. Also, everyone else is probably better. So we have with us today the Serrano Briceno family, and they are going to share very briefly, because there's not enough time to tell a whole great deep story that's been filling their world for a number of years. But they will do a brief summary of things that they've experienced coming out of Venezuela, and then making their way eventually here. We do want to say thank you to everyone who has had a role to play in helping with something along the way. Can we just see a show of hands of anyone who's done anything, brought furniture into the house, gone with someone on a trip, whatever. So quite a few of us. And thank you very much. We don't really have time to thank each of you individually, but we are very, very grateful for all the work we've done. For those who are not aware of it, we have counted 80 people who were part of this congregation or of the college who have taken part in the resettlement process. More chairs. There is, as always, a front pew. There's that front. Anyway, we're glad to hear. We're going to give them as much time as we can, and hope then to, at the end, to have some time for question and answer. I think that's all I need to say at this point, except we're also very glad that Leah is here to serve as translator today. We've had several people who have worked as translators, and we is going to do that today. Maria, who is the grandmother in the family, will be the one doing the presentation.
Yeah, I think so.
But I take care.
I want you to hold that. If you want me to hold that for the people coming.
I'm guessing we should have this.
I'll sit up there.
I don't know that they can hear us though. Can you make sure that the video is on, or that we're sharing a screen?
Yeah, it is shared
It is shared,
on the laptop.
okay. No, I mean for the people that are in Zoom.
Yeah, a shared screen means it's shared with everybody, I think.
Okay.
Buenos días. Les doy la más cordial bienvenida a todos los presentes. Mi nombre es María Teresa y hoy estaré hablando en representación de la familia Serrano Rodríguez Briceno. La misma se encuentra integrada por mis hijos, Carolina, Joseph, mi nieta Zoe, mi nuera Wilmay y mi persona. Somos una familia.
Good morning. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all that are present. My name is Maria Teresa, and I'll be speaking today on behalf of the Serrano, Rodriguez, and Briceno family. This family is made up of my children, Carolina and Joseph, my granddaughter Zoe, my daughter-in-law Wilberry, and myself.
Somos una familia de Venezuela, ubicado al sur del continente americano, un país con enormes yacimientos de minerales preciosos como el oro, diamante, esmeralda, así como la bauxita, níquel, hierro y otros minerales no metálicos.
We're a family from Venezuela, a country to the south of the American continent.
A little closer. Or like.
Louder.
Take turns standing directly in front of it.
We are a family from Venezuela, a country that is located to the south of the American continent. A country with enormous deposits of precious minerals such as gold, diamonds, emeralds, as well as bauxite, nickel, limestone, iron, and other non-metallic minerals.
Además, también contamos con importantes producciones de fosfato, manganeso, amianto, azufre, coltán y plomo.
We also have important exploratory drilling for phosphate, manganese, asbestos, sulfur, ultron, and lead.
Pero además de esto, Venezuela es el quinto importador mayor de petróleo y posee las más grandes reservas naturales de este mineral.
In addition to this, Venezuela is the fifth largest exporter of oil and has the largest natural reserves of this natural resource, which is the main potential for the production of gasoline, kerosene, and diesel.
Según los últimos datos publicados por la CIA en el año 2021, Venezuela tuvo unas reservas estimadas de petróleo crudo de 303.806 millones de barriles, y esto sin meter el potencial turístico que posee debido a sus bellezas naturales, donde destacan su fauna, parque nacional y sus impresionantes cascadas.
According to the latest data published by the CIA, in 2021, Venezuela had estimated crude oil reserves of 303,806 billion barrels. Additionally, Venezuela had great tourism potential due to its natural beauty, where its fauna, natural parks, and impressive waterfalls stand out.
Ahora bien, ustedes se preguntarán, ¿por qué siendo un país tan rico en recursos naturales nos tocó huir de esta?
Now, you may wonder why, being such a country so rich in mineral and natural resources, we had to flee from it.
Todo esto se lo debemos al gobierno de Hugo Chávez Frías, quien fue electo como presidente en el año 99, bajo el Partido Socialista Unido de Venezuela. Este se encargó con ideas socialistas de igualdad, cooperación moral del individuo, equidad económica, la promoción de estructuras políticas, entre otras.
We owe this all to the government of Hugo Chavez Frias, who was elected president in 1999 under the United Socialist Party of Venezuela, which was established with socialist ideas, equality, moral cooperation of individuals, economic equity, and the promotion of political structures, among others.
Durante su mandato, nada fue así. Nos dieron un país con escasez de la canasta alimentaria, inflación, expropiaciones de tierra y empresas privadas. Llevaron a las principales fábricas de materia prima al cierre, despidiendo a la mayoría de sus empleados sin importar que estos eran padres y madres sustentos de sus hogares.
During his term of office, nothing was like that. They gave us a country with a shortage of basic food staples, inflation, expropriations of land and private companies. And this led to the main raw material factories to close, in turn firing most of their employees, regardless of the fact that they were the fathers or mothers, or the providers, supporters of their homes.
Todo esto conllevó a la corrupción desmedida y a la toma de los principales poderes del país, iniciando con las Fuerzas Armadas, el poder legislativo, judicial, electoral y policial, entre otros.
All of this led to rampant corruption and the seizure of the country's main powers, starting with the armed forces, the legislative, judicial, electoral, and police powers, among others.
Todo esto se incrementó en el año 2013 con la instalación en el poder de Nicolás Maduro, quien reemplazó a Hugo Chávez luego de su muerte, y en este se incrementó aún más la dictadura. El país cayó en una situación sumamente precaria y difícil.
Everything increased in 2013 with the installation of Nicolás Maduro, who replaced Hugo Chavez after his death. And with this, the dictatorship increased even more. The country fell into an extremely precarious and difficult situation.
Para que tengan una idea, en el año 2017 se veía el país con grandes escasez, grandes colas para obtener gasolina, compra de gas, insumos médicos.
To give you an idea, there were a lot of shortages in 2017. It was almost impossible to buy gas or gasoline as well as medical equipment.
Se hizo imposible comprar los alimentos básicos para la alimentación. Luego, esto cada día hacía más difícil de conseguir, llegando al extremo de condicionar la compra de ellos.
It became more and more difficult to be able to purchase regular staple foods, and it made it very hard waiting in long lines to be able to get these things.
Lo que conllevó a la salida de las calles y protestas en contra del gobierno. Los jóvenes eran reprimidos por la policía y demás gobiernos.
This brought about a lot of protests and people going out into the streets to protest the government. Young people were then captured by the police and other organizations.
A continuación, un pequeño video de lo que era en ese momento las marchas.
El país con las mayores reservas de petróleo en el mundo ahora se ve incapaz de alimentar a su gente.
Aún si muero, valdrá la pena. ¿Por cuánto más seguirá esto? Somos un país con hambre.
Mientras que cada vez más venezolanos protestan en su contra, el presidente Nicolás Maduro impulsa un nuevo proyecto político, la Asamblea Constituyente. Pero muchos temen que una nueva constitución significaría el fin de la democracia y el inicio de un Estado totalitario.
Ninguna constitución es intocable para siempre. No vamos a reducir la violencia.
Después de meses de protestas, BBC Mundo descubrió perturbadoras acusaciones de tortura a manos de funcionarios del Estado en contra de los manifestantes.
Varios oficiales nos dijeron, les vamos a dar un tratamiento de shock.
Un país que ha vivido varias crisis económicas en su historia, pareciera ahora estar al borde de la explosión.
Son días sí muy peligrosos. Es que la única opción que le queda es tomar la justicia en sus propias manos.
En este viaje pasé días con la llamada resistencia, el grupo de jóvenes que forma parte de la vanguardia en las protestas. ¿Quiénes son? ¿Qué buscan? ¿Por qué lo hacen? Caracas, Venezuela.
Pero no se sabe de familias que tuvieron que salir y muchos no lo lograron. Murieron en el camino, fueron abusadas muchas mujeres, niños abandonados por sus padres por no poder seguir con ellos a otros países.
So this continued for a long time. There was a lot of people that ended up being disappeared. Many people tried to leave. Many died on the way. There were children that were left abandoned by their parents.
En medio de este desastre, los primeros en iniciar la salida del país fueron los médicos especialistas, seguidos por los maestros y profesores universitarios, dejando los centros hospitalarios y escuelas sin personal capacitado para laborar en ellos.
In the midst of all of this, the first to leave the country were medical specialists, followed by teachers and university professors, even hospitals and schools without trained personnel to work in them.
Ahora bien, En nuestro caso, nos tocó turnarnos con la comida, las cuales eran todas al día, y nuestra prioridad era sol.
Now, in our case, we had to take turns sharing the meals of the day, and there were really just 2 meals a day, with the priority in our case being Zoe.
Viendo este panorama y lo que nos esperaba en el futuro, decidimos ir saliendo en la medida posible y con la ayuda de algunas personas que estaban ya por fuera. Por eso es que salimos en diferentes años. Sol merecía un mejor futuro y calidad de vida.
Seeing this panorama and what awaited us in the future, we decided to leave in whatever way possible, with the help of some people that were already abroad. This is why we left in different years. Zoe deserved a better future and quality of life.
Nuestro destino final fue Perú, porque nos permitió establecernos un tiempo. Pero luego surgieron problemas debido a la alta migración de venezolanos hacia los países vecinos. Y Perú fue quien recibió la mayor concentración de la población migrante.
Our final destination was Peru because it would allow us to settle down for a while. But then problems arose due to the increased migration of Venezuelans to neighboring countries, and Peru is the one that received the largest concentration of the migrant population.
Esta gran afluencia generó muchos conflictos. El país no estaba preparado para esta migración, causando rechazo entre sus residentes.
This large influx of migrants generated many conflicts. The country was not prepared for this migration, causing a lot of rejection among its residents.
De igual manera, se dificultaron los procesos legales tanto para la obtención de un carnet de trabajo como la solicitud de su residencia.
Likewise, the legal processes were made very difficult, both for obtaining a work card and for applying for residency.
Asimismo, también se hizo muy difícil conseguir empleo debido a la discriminación y xenofobia hacia los venezolanos.
It also became very difficult to get a job due to the discrimination and xenophobia towards Venezuelans.
Esto nos llevó a buscar ayuda para un asesoramiento en cuanto a los trámites necesarios de nuestra legalidad, ya que estos no tenían ningún avance en las instituciones donde habíamos revisado las solicitudes. Y nuestra intención era tener documentos necesarios para servir en ese país, pero de forma legal.
This led us to seek legal advice regarding the necessary procedures for our family to reside legally, since we had not made any progress in the institutions where we had previously submitted applications. Our intention was to have the necessary documents to make a living in that country, but legally.
Entonces, cuando acudimos al alto comisionado de las Naciones Unidas para los Refugiados, ahí nos permitieron a un grupo de consultores jurídicos sin fines de lucro. Ellos viendo varias situaciones que ponían en peligro la vida de muchos venezolanos y una serie de casos sin resolver, decidieron referirnos a la OIM, Organización Internacional para la Migración.
It was then that we went to the UNHCR, which is the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, where they referred us to a group of nonprofit legal consultants. And seeing several situations that endangered the lives of many Venezuelans and a series of unresolved cases, they decided to refer us to the IOM, the International Organization for Migration.
Ellos nos plantearon la posibilidad de un reasentamiento migratorio legal en un país más seguro y con progreso.
And they proposed the possibility of a legal migratory resettlement and a safer and more progressive country.
Entre estos países se encontraba Panamá, Australia y Estados Unidos. Eran al azar, no podíamos escoger. Seguimos todos los procesos que nos fueron indicando en un lapso de año y medio.
Among those countries were Panama, Australia, and the United States. And these countries would be chosen at random. We would not be given a choice on where to go. We followed the entire process that they instructed for us over a period of a year and a half.
Lo curioso de todo este proceso fue que nos enteramos que veníamos a este país y en especial a esta ciudad una semana antes del viaje.
The curious thing about this whole process is that we found out just a week before that we were coming to this country and especially to this city.
Aparte, solo podíamos traer una pequeña maleta con poca ropa.
Apart from this, we could only bring a small suitcase with a little bit of clothing.
Hoy podemos decir que los tiempos de Dios son perfectos y aunque en alguna oportunidad creíamos que no lo merecíamos, también sabíamos que Él no abandonaba a sus hijos.
Today we can say that God's timing is perfect. And although at some points we did not believe that we deserved it, we also know that God does not abandon his children.
Que habíamos sido luchadores y vivido momentos duros, lo mismo que nos permitieron fortalecernos y ver la vida desde otra perspectiva.
We have been fighters and we lived through hard times, and these same ones were what allowed us to become stronger and to see life from a different perspective.
Dios solamente no nos bendijo al traernos a esta hermosa ciudad, sino que también lo hizo al habernos colocado personas maravillosas, quienes han demostrado su hermandad y amor al prójimo.
God did not only bless us by bringing us to this beautiful place, but also by putting us here with such marvelous people who have demonstrated their brotherhood and love to the other.
En nombre de mi familia, quiero primeramente dar las gracias a la Iglesia de los Hermanos
On behalf of my family, I first want to give thanks to the Church of the Brethren, la Iglesia de los Hermanos,
por habernos permitido sus instalaciones para realizar esta presentación
for permitting us the space to make this presentation.
De igual manera, también expresarles nuestro agradecimiento a todo el equipo del Welcome Team por haber sido un pilar fundamental en la organización de nuestro recibimiento.
We also want to give special thanks to the entire Welcome team for being a fundamental pillar for our resettlement in this community.
Y del cual valoramos cada detalle porque sabemos que fue realizado mucho antes de nuestra llegada y con el fin de que nos sintiéramos como en casa.
We value every detail because we know that you did a lot before we arrived with the idea that we would feel at home.
Es placentero ver todo el trabajo que han realizado en equipo.
It is so wonderful to see all of the work that you've done as a team.
Porque cada uno aportó su granito de arena en diferentes áreas.
Because each of you had provided a small grain of sand in so many different areas.
Como traslados a centros médicos, cursos de inglés, a nuestra educación de ropa, entre otros.
For example, taking us to appointments, for taking us to English courses and for teaching us English, and also for donations of clothing.
Todo esto nos ha permitido avanzar de manera positiva.
This has all helped us to move forward in a really positive way.
Es por ello que quiero agradecerles a todos los miembros de la Iglesia por su apoyo incondicional, porque esto ha sido fundamental para nuestro reasentamiento e integración en la comunidad.
It is for this that we want to thank all of the members of this church for your unconditional support, because this has been fundamental in our resettlement and integration into this community.
De igual manera, hago extensivo este agradecimiento a Sure World Service, porque ellos han sido nuestros garantes desde que llegamos a este país.
In the same way, we want to recognize extensively Church World Service, because they have been our guarantors during our during our arrival to this country.
Dándonos los recursos para realizar los trámites que nos permitirán la legalidad en el país, así como son los encargados de nuestra seguridad y nos han brindado servicios médicos, asistenciales, orientación cultural y asesoramiento legal.
They also gave us resources to be able to do all of the paperwork that we needed to reside legally in this country, as well as provided for our security. They also provided medical services, cultural orientation, and legal advising.
No hay nada más acertado para todos ustedes que gracias y que Dios los bendiga.
There is no more appropriate word for me to say to you except thank you. And may God bless you.
So we had said we would try to do 30 minutes, which is exactly what we did. And we would then have time for question and answer. I want to begin by saying, is it obvious that she worked for the parliament? That's weird. I mean, we're talking about a family with well-developed skills. I would like for you each, if you could say where you worked and what it was that you did in Venezuela and in Peru. And is that okay, or shall she speak for you? I mean, I think I for each.
Si pueden decir lo que hacían en Venezuela o si quieren que hable por ustedes.
Yo era
Bring them up, Ron. Because the reason you got some watching online, so they will hear you speak.
No van a oír los del video, sino yo era administradora de empresas en mi país. Llegué a ejercer esta profesión en varios años. Cuando emigré hacia Perú, también fui administradora en una compañía y espero que en algún momento yo pueda aplicar o poder desempeñar esa parte en el trabajo que espero. Y he podido aprender durante mucho tiempo en esta profesión para distintos países. Espero poder aplicarla también. In my country, I was a business administrator in Venezuela as well as in Peru. I worked for different companies, and I hope to be able to apply this knowledge or what I learned to do as well at some point in my job here. I learned a lot during over the years, and I hope to be able to apply that knowledge at some point here in the United States.
Mi nombre es Joseph Serrano. En Venezuela desempeñaba como supervisor de operaciones, me gradué como ingeniero industrial y en Perú fui soporte técnico para una compañía de software deportivo. Espero de igual manera poder aprender acá nuevos conocimientos con las muchísimas tecnologías que hay acá y de verdad que me siento feliz, me siento de verdad que agradecido por todo el amor y también por todo el apoyo que nos han dado durante este tiempo. Muchas gracias.
Good morning, my name is Joseph Serrano, and in Venezuela, I was a supervisor of production. I graduated with a degree in industrial engineering. Then in Peru, I worked as technical support for a software company related to sports. I'm very thankful for all of the love and support that I've gotten here, and I hope that someday I'll be able to apply that same knowledge to my job here.
Buenos días, Fernando.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Wilmary. Mi nombre es Wilmary, soy comunicadora social por carrera. Nunca pude ejercer en mi país por el tema político ni por muchas otras cosas, pero de alguna manera este conocimiento me ha permitido aplicarlo a lo largo de mi vida. En muchos otros trabajos que he tenido, he trabajado en el área de recursos humanos, he trabajado en el área de atención al público y pues en algún momento espero poder ejercer lo que estudié. My name is Wilmer and I studied social communications. I never got to practice in Venezuela due to the political situation, but I've always been able to apply what I've learned in other jobs that I've had. So I've worked in HR and other public-facing jobs. I also want to mention that Bill Mary is one of the presentation.
Soy María. María Teresa, durante muchos años en Venezuela trabajé en el Palacio Legislativo durante 20 años y casi 25 en la administración pública, pero por problemas políticos fui despedida de una manera inadecuada y bueno, no me arrepiento porque eso me permitió avanzar fuera de mi país y obtener muchas otras cosas que en su momento allá no pude lograr.
As you all know, my name is Maria Teresa, and for about 20 years I worked in the government palace. I also worked in administration for 25 years. After all of that time, due to the political situation, I was fired incorrectly, but I don't regret that. It allowed me for a lot of other opportunities that I otherwise would not have
When 12 years old, it was my life, it was when I was 6-year-old, we had to go to Peru. I don't really remember so much about the trouble of the unit, so I don't really can tell about it. But obviously I can remember a few things. But, in Peru, the first time, it was so scary because the first day was like, oh, I don't really know anyone here. Maybe can happen something. I don't know. And it was actually so scary. Then I was a 6-year-old. And I didn't have friends there. I didn't study there for a while. Like, because when I started the school, it was 2020. So I had to have online classes. So friends, it was so hard. Then when I started the school, like in 4th grade, 2022, I did many friends, plus the daughter of my mom's best friend, which her name is Hannah. She was with me. She's a year less than me, so she's 11. And she was with me practically the whole time. She was my only friend when I was getting her friends at that time. I appreciate that so much from her. And when I had to come here, I was always like, no, I like Peru. I don't really like Peru and everything. But like, just a week before
they all said, we have to go, this is our time, we gotta go to US. I was like, ooh, I love it. It was kind of scary too, because like the language, France again, I had to restart my life again. And it was pretty hard to do it, I really Peru. But even the time that I spent in Peru, I did it pretty easy here. I appreciate it so much for all the people that helped us in every single way. Like, I get into school in summer with the volleyball practices, with the aunt's family every Wednesday. And when they all helped us in every single way, I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
My experience of family arriving, primarily in terms of what I asked them about their employment, was that they said, we know when we come here, we must be willing to do anything. And it may be jobs that, would be really hard for us because we have skills and gifts and knowledge. And when you put that aside, we'll start at the bottom. And then Javier, that's Javier, for having that connection that he can help them find their way into jobs that are not quite, but nevertheless, they're building their way up, and they then promoted and have full-time employment, and we see options coming. So that's been very special to watch that take place. We're ready for some question and answer, I think, now, and they may have questions for each of you. Oh, I wanted to say one other thing. We had a blessing that one of Wilmarie's jobs had been to park cars in the garage. She knew how to drive. And so getting a driver's license came much more quickly. It's harder if you've never had one before. And so she has the driver's license and they take themselves to and from work. The main thing we're working on now is that when they are all at work, Maria needs to go to a medical appointment, we still need some assistance with transportation. And we've been blessed with them having a van. That was very, very special to have that. We donated. And so lots of different things, but so many of you have been very, very good. What are your questions as you've heard the presentations?
Jim,
Yes.
I'm just curious how they travel from Venezuela to Peru.
Jim, you should repeat the question, the mic for whoever's online.
The question was how they traveled from Venezuela to you, is that correct?
Into Peru.
Into Peru.
Nuestro viaje fue por tierra, tuvimos que tomar un bus y cruzar de frontera a frontera, cada país hasta llegar a la ciudad que nos esperaba. Yo tenía una amiga en Perú que vivió antes y por eso decidí irme a este país porque ella me iba a brindar un apoyo. Y de ahí, poco a poco, fueron viajando mi mamá, mi hermano y mi hermano.
We traveled from Venezuela to Peru by land. We traveled by bus, but at each border crossing, we had to take another bus. Eventually to get to the city that was waiting for us. I had a friend who had already left that was waiting for us in Peru. And so then little by little, my mom came and Joseph came and then Wilmer was able to.
Yeah, that's an important piece. You were not all traveling together. They got back together again and grew bit by bit. So that's a different piece of that experience. Well, I think Zoe was always with you, right?
My question would be how difficult was communication while you were separated, trying to communicate from Peru to Venezuela? between family members that had not arrived yet.
How difficult, the question is, how difficult was communication when you were not together yet in Peru?
Cuando yo viajé, pude viajar de manera legal. Todavía era posible entrar con pasaporte y pasar al país. Pero en los siguientes viajes, las demás personas tuvimos que utilizar inmigración ilegal para poder cruzar los países porque ya había problemas para los venezolanos. Y habían personas que nos ayudaron para mantenernos comunicados. Por ejemplo, ya tu hermano cruzó Colombia, o ya Ecuador, para llegar a Perú.
I was able to travel legally with a passport when the borders were still open between other countries. But those that left later had to travel in a manner that was illegal. There were people, due to the difficult situation with Venezuelans, there were people along the way that helped us to communicate. So they would maybe send a message that said, your brother has arrived in Colombia, and that would get back to their family.
Something I read about online when I was trying to get some sense of the context of which families indicated that this is by far the largest migration of a people out of the country in Latin America in history. Venezuela has had the most people leave. And someone was telling me that before things got bad, there were all kinds of people from all over the world. It was a very culture, attractive place to come. Everybody wanted to be there. The life was lively. And then everything fell apart. I love that we should have said that right. Yeah.
Curious.
Okay, good. And then we'll go to Damon. Go ahead.
I was curious if they could explain what led to the socialists taking over when they had such a multicultural country that was so wealthy, and how quickly that happened.
Oh, so repeat that. So how it could be that socialism of this nature took over when things were going so well economically. I think we're going to hear something about oil. But anyway.
En Venezuela durante mucho tiempo reinó lo que fue el presidentes conservadores. Entonces, cuando llegó el presidente Chávez al poder, quiso darle un cambio a la doctrina que históricamente siempre hubo, dándole más poder a las personas de bajos recursos. Bajo ese disfraz, quiso enamorar a las personas y muchas personas que jamás le dieron algo, le regalaron algo, se sintieron atraídas hacia esta doctrina, pero todo era una farsa.
For a long time in Venezuela, a conservative party ruled. So when Chavez came along with the more socialist ideas, he was really a change in a prior doctrine. He really spoke to the people that were of low resources, maybe the folks that had never really received anything. So when he gave things, it really brought them kind of to his doctrine or to his side. But really that was a farce.
Yo quiero agregar que antes, para tener una casa o un carro en nuestro país, porque tú debías trabajar para poder obtenerlo. Pero cuando entró el gobierno de Chávez, él empezó a regalar estas cosas, pero obligando a las empresas a bajar sus precios para poder venderlo muchísimo más barato y que las personas pudieran comprar. Aquí se creó un negocio de reventa y empezó a haber más corrupción.
So I want to say that our ad that in the past, the way that somebody in Venezuela could have a car or have a house was by working. Chavez began to give things away or force companies to lower the prices of items so that people could buy them or have more access to them. And that created a lot of resale of things and a lot of corruption.
Somebody should, oh, Damon, yes, thank you.
Yes, how many years did you have to wait in Peru to come here?
How many years did you have to wait in Peru to come here is the question Damon asked. And each of their stories is a little different about the process of getting to Peru.
Yo emigré a Perú en el año 2018 y llegamos aquí este año. Pero cuando a nosotros nos ofrecieron un reasentamiento fue en el 2022, 21, perdón, finalizando ese año. Y pudieron decirnos que veníamos a este país en este año.
So for each of us, the case is a little bit different. I arrived in Peru in 2018, and it was 2023 when we arrived here. We were initially offered the opportunity for resettlement at the end of the year 2021.
I'm tempted to say we should say something about arepas. If you don't know arepas, you should experience it sometime. It's very good food. And there are some places around here where Venezuelan people who are here have been looking at regarding this as a really good place in my history. I had a question in my mind. Somebody else have a question? I'm trying to remember my answer.
A question for Zoe. Zoe, when did you first start studying English?
For Zoe, question about when she first started studying English.
So we came in February. So I started to learn English like in March. Or, yeah, it's March this year. People from Briceno College went to our house and were giving us classes of English. Plus, when I went to school for the first time, well, I'm still in the program, there is ESL program where we take classes for people from other countries that are in the school, the classes of English that are a little lower than the normal English classes that normal people take. So I think that helped it a lot, plus our teacher is so cool. We love her. And I think that was a really good help learning English. Plus, particularly when I came here, I started to see TV shows in English, like with the subtitles in Spanish, and I started to understand like what did they say, like trying to match the words in English with Spanish, and so I think that was a good part into learning English.
Before you go too far, Zoe. I know that you have a number of friends in school who also came from other countries. Can you tell us a little bit about how many there are in your class or in school and where they're from?
So we start with someone that many of you maybe know is Nayel. How many of you know Nayel?
From Haiti.
Yeah.
In our congregation.
Yes, she's here. Well, she's actually in this church. So many of you know her. She's in 8th grade. Of course, she was in 7th grade. She's our friend. I went with her to Hershey Park. And she's sometimes she goes to my house and we play, I don't know, video games or we spend just time there and she's pretty funny. At first she was pretty shy, but and we have the most of my, actually, I'm the only one in middle school that is from South America. That's crazy. All of them are from Puerto Rico, Honduras, Guatemala, Salvador, Mexico. That's all. That's all. I have like a few friends that are from Africa. They live pretty close to my house. I think they speak Swahili. I think I learned more other idioms than English, but I learned more accents of Spanish and I don't know, Swahili, French, any other language that is not English. And I realized here that when my family talk, for example, some words from my grandma said, I don't even know what it was are. That's fine.
And an introvert correction, sorry, I'm in the year 2023 weird. So I apologize for that last.
Anyone else? Yes.
I was wondering, socially, do they feel like they have enough connections? Are they lonely, bored, anything like that?
Okay, so the question is, do they feel like they have enough social connections? Are they lonely? Are they bored?
Al principio, como es normal, sí nos sentíamos un poco solos porque eran muy poquitas las personas que podían hablar con nosotros en español. Pero ahorita tenemos 3 trabajamos, 1 va a la escuela, estamos bastante ocupados, estamos muy cansados, pero a pesar de todo tenemos muchas amistades que nos invitan a hacer actividades y nosotros hemos podido explorar un poco el estado, en el que hemos podido visitar algunas ciudades y la verdad nos sentimos muy bien. Estamos bastante contentos porque pensamos que este es un buen estado para nosotros vivir. Es bastante tranquilo, la verdad nos gusta y creo que nos hemos adaptado bastante rápido.
So at the beginning, as is to be expected, we felt kind of lonely. There were not many people that we could speak with in Spanish. But now, we are working, we go to school, and we are quite busy. We get home and we're very tired. Despite all that, we've been able to create a lot of friendships. We're very happy that we've gotten to explore the state a little bit. We've gone to some different cities. We feel very good, we feel very content. We like it here and we're very thankful.
Bueno, pienso que el idioma no tiene barreras. Yo en particular, aunque aún no logro hablar bien el inglés, siento ese cariño y ese amor a través de las personas que comparten día a día conmigo, con sus expresiones, su solaridad. Eso a mí, bueno, me hace sentir muy bien. De verdad que esta ciudad ha sido lo mejor que nos ha pasado porque nos dio un cambio para bien, un cambio para sentirnos a gusto y no extrañar en parte nuestro antiguo vivir. Aquí de verdad nos sentimos como en casa.
So I really do believe that there are no barriers with language in the sense that I can feel the love and the support from all of you. My English is not very good, but I can still feel the solidarity that you've given to our family. I feel really good. This has been quite a change, but a change for the good. And yeah, we feel content.
I was wondering if, Messex, the owners of Messex, if they know about your past work history and all your talents, because it's such a treasure. And I wondered if the owners knew all the talents that are there.
So the question is whether Essex knew about all the talents. Yeah. Peggy Shaker did a really good job of getting resumes brought together, identified what people had done, and that we could make available to all of them. But I think they can speak for themselves on this, but I think a lot of things just emerged when the employers began to see, oh, there's that quality. I read it on the resume, but you know, employers, they don't necessarily always know that it's true until they see it happening in the person themselves. Does that make sense?
Yes, the owner of Essex are aware of her education, but the language is an area that still requires some growth to be able to kind of reach that area.
Yes.
I was over there getting a part last month and happened to be talking to Ken Messick, and he said, you guys are doing a great job. So Ken Messick, one of the owners.
And so the comment was that he heard about one of the guys there at Essex saying that they were doing a great job.
He's the owner.
Oh, he's the owner? Okay. Thank you.
Oh, my son's on it.
Okay.
Ken and Bob would have been original.
Yeah, Bob.
Okay.
Just one more thing. I was at middle school Friday and substituting, and then I was outside all day with the kids. And I saw Zoe several times in the afternoon, and I could not tell her apart from the kids. They're all covered with dust and having a great time. She obviously had many friends and seemed to be very well acclimated. That's all I want to say.
It was a color run.
It was a color run, yeah.
Oh.
It was a color run, yeah. He was having a great time, so
Yeah, so.
The color run of Brazil was so funny. My friends were ready my shirt. Something funny happened too with our English teacher. The one that I told you guys. It's just she was taking pictures and everything. Actually, by the way, the color in and out. It's good. And it was just also fun. We were just getting to our teacher, saying that she was part of the gang, and she wrote in my shirt, like, oh yeah, I'm part of the gang. It was just so fun.
So I think that this is being recorded, and if someone wants to see it later, hopefully that will be possible. I wasn't here when I got set up, but I think that's what I've done. And we will have opportunities to see the family members now and again as they are with us. Sometimes they have gone with their case manager to a Church of the Brethren congregation that is Spanish speaking in Lancaster. And so there are other connections, and they have sometimes other families that they've gotten to know here to say, let's go do something on Sunday. And so, you know, just saying things a lot of us do also, right? And so just thank you to everyone who's been a part of this. And thank you for being wonderful people. Thank you so much.
Sabemos que no todos los inmigrantes igual, pero nosotros estamos agradecidos que aunque ustedes no nos conocían, nos han recibido muy bien, pusieron todo de su parte para poder abrirnos las puertas, muchos de sus casas, de su comunidad, y nosotros hemos tratado de ser agradecidos y de portarnos como se debe, adaptarnos a sus costumbres, a sus leyes y respetar todo porque sentimos que ha sido una bendición.
So I'm sure that you know that not all immigrants are the same, but we want to express our thanks to you because even though you didn't know us, you welcomed us. We've been very thankful for all you've done. We've tried to learn your ways, respect our laws,
and just become good citizens. And for that, we are very good, good people. For that, we are very thankful.
You just lady, they don't even have a moment to say. Good. Thank you all.